How would you describe yourself in a line?
Let's reduce your burden. I can do that in a word. I'll say conscious. And I think being conscious is the biggest thing that we need today, especially the Indian youth. So if you get selected for ND, it's good enough. Otherwise, at graduation level, you go for NCC, complete your NCC certificate, then you need not appear for written exam. You can directly go to interview. That is, and the process itself is interesting because only what kind of a person you are, your selection depends on that. The rest, everything doesn't matter.
So the next question is, you have mentioned that you have trained around 80 people. So how did you clear the mentees question mark in their mind regarding their exams or their vision?
Mm-hmm. See, the first thing in any competitive exam is internal motivation. Now, what happens in defense actually is defense is a very emotional issue in India. So you have to stay away from that emotion. You should respect everybody, but don't become a fan of anybody, even it's Bollywood celebrities or whatever, even politicians. The moment you become fan, you will start worshipping that organization. Let me tell you, those are normal human beings. They are not superhumans in the military. Just that they are highly aware of who they are. That is why they are in the military and you are in the civil life. That is the only difference. Okay. The first thing is get out of this emotion. Don't make patriotism and military all mixed. Because even in military, scams have happened, crimes have happened. Even in this selection process, scams have happened. So the first thing you need to do is look at it very neutrally. Otherwise, in my coaching, not coaching as such, I don't coach or take money. But in our guidance program, people come emotionally motivated. सब आतंकवादी को मारना है, सब देश की सेवा करनी है. Emotion is fine. We respect you for that. But emotion will not get you get selected. It will get you killed. If firing is going on and he is abusing you with taking names of your family, your country, whatever, and you stand up like this that okay, I'll come and shoot you, he will shoot you down. So it's a game of bad boys. Okay, I'm not disrespecting anybody, but military, diplomacy, intelligence, these are not game of common people. You have to have a tactful mind. You should have to play dirty games. These are dirty games. War is not, see what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. I'm not saying they are bad people, but it's slightly negative. You have to be like a wolf. Okay, you have to run and get the enemy killed. At the same time, you have to stay alive. Now for all this, the motivation has to come from within. Especially people, when the Uri film was released, people got fascinated by para commandos, special
Yes.
force. What exactly does special force do? They run, they train. It makes your life hell. You might think picking up a rifle like this and shooting is, patriotic or it's glorified in the media. It is not. You go stand in a firing range, they'll fire so much your ears will bleed. That now noise is like that. So get out of the glory, get out of that emotional, whatever patriotism that is sold to you. See what the life is all about. The life is about sacrifice. The life is about staying away from the family. The life is about losing your dear ones, your friends, people who trained with you, they will get killed in encounters. They might die in a plane crash. So for that, you have to have internal motivation that, okay, I understand the risk. Now connect this to the first answer that I gave. You have to be conscious. Motivation will get you cleared with the written exam, the interview. You might now everybody comes and tells same answers in the interview. Sir, I want to join for national service. That officer already knows these answers. He has seen 1,000 candidates like that, and he knows this is a fake answer because nobody joins for truly patriotic reason. The reason is I'll get a government job. Personal interest is always there. So be self-motivated. Be clear about why you want to join,
Yes.
because this why question will come in your mind when you see the negativities in the organization, when
Yes.
your senior will pressurize you to do wrong things, and that time you have to take a call. Ki, why am I doing this? Should I serve his interest or my national interest? Okay. Then when once why is clear, then how will I prepare for this exam or for this life? And then comes what will I do to achieve it? So when I guide candidates, I guide them at this core level, and trust me, 80% run away from that. क्योंकि अब उन्होंने reality देख ली. I broke their dream, I broke their fancy.
Okay.
The 20% who stay, they very well know that this might happen. In spite of that, they say that, okay, I want to study, you tell me how to study, I'll go and join. That kind of people the military wants. They may not say in public, but you ask any officer in private, he will tell you the most problematic crowd in interview is these people, the emotional people.
Mm.
They don't want such people. They want you to know the reality, and in spite of knowing the reality, if you still want to join, then you are most welcome, because then you can be held accountable. If you get killed in an encounter, you should not go and tell the blame the interview system कि आपने मेरे को select क्यों किया. You should have rejected me back then. You can't say. Now you are accountable. So
Mm.
be clear in your mind about why, for whom, and for what purpose. Because then you can make any sacrifice. Then coaching and all is just external business. Once internal is clear, we will train you, we will guide you, you will get selected. Otherwise, what happens is even wrong type of person, wrong personality, I would say, gets selected, gets into the system, does some nonsense, and spoil everybody's name. So that happens. Now, the system is not to be blamed because let me tell you, the SSB process is scientific and psychologically proven, but it is not foolproof. Once in a while, some idiot gets selected, definitely, doesn't matter. But as far as you are concerned, if you are a serious aspirant, ask yourself, why am I doing this? And do I want to do it all my life, daily basis? एक बार ये clear हो गया, everything is easy.
Okay, that was a good answer. So explain the exam process and format of NDA. You have mentioned the NDA exam previously. So please explain the process and format of NDA.
Okay. So before you study for the exam, I always say study the exam, which means study the notification. The official notification is released. Read every line what is given. They will tell you age criteria and basic eligibility. All right. Once that is cleared, it will help you plan your strategy that this is the time I am left with to prepare for the exam. Now in India, I think there are 400 seats every 6 months, so 800 in 1 year. Some seats will be reserved for girls, so that has increased the competition. And as usual, a 3 day process would happen wherein the written exam, the interview test, and the medicals would happen.
Okay.
Once you join the NDA, what happens is they allot your battalions, and then you get to choose where you want to go. The initial training remains the same for Army, Navy, Air Force. In the final year, you get to choose one out of these three. The basic training remains the same. Same goes for CDS, same goes for AFCAT. The choice of the regiment you want to join is available at the last. Initially, the training remains the same. I previously told you how to prepare for this, and I don't think there's much left for the exam thing. Just remember for the written, never attempt questions based on emotion. Do not attempt on guesswork. Only if you're 200% sure this is the option, mark it out. Okay? For NDA, you have a separate paper for mathematics and a combined second paper for English and GK. Same pattern is followed in CDS, wherein you need to clear the mathematics paper if you want to join the Dehradun Wala Academy, the IMA. If you want to join OTA, just clear the English and GK paper, which is combined. In AFCAT, all three are combined together. You have to clear the entire paper. There is no sectional cutoff. Same goes for, I think, INET also. Now, if you are an NCC candidate, focus on personality development because written exam, you are exempted. You can directly appear for the interview. If you are an engineering graduate, you can directly go for your entry, but there OIR will happen in SSB. OIR is Officer Intelligence Rating. So for that, you need basic intelligence level questions, logical reasoning, quantitative aptitude, verbal ability. Syllabus remains the same. Now, as far as NDA is concerned, you are fresh out of college. You have not seen much of the world. So do not try to be behaving like a 40 or 30-year-old. Be natural in your response. And I think this is the most difficult part. People solve complex problem easily, but if you tell them, boss, stay original, stay normal, they don't get it. They try to portray themselves what they are not. They try to have a different personality, and in that age, ND exam actually becomes tricky because in that age you are trying to show off to girls or maybe someone else. That is a teenage actually. Teenage comes to an end. Puberty is going on. So these youngsters try to be more of impressive. Don't do it. Stay what you are, analyze yourself, become the best version of yourself. If the military likes it, they select you. Otherwise, rejection doesn't mean that you are waste. Honestly, the military tells you on the last day of the conference, जब result announce होते हैं, the officer will come and tell you that we make selections based on our criteria, which is different from other jobs, other criteria. Rejection here doesn't mean you are a misfit. It only means you cannot be a part of us. You can be part of something else in life. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Rahul Dravid, these are the people who have got rejected from the military boards because their personalities were made for something else, not the military. So
Yes.
even if you get rejected in NDA, I've seen NDA cadets getting rejected and then they become very depressed. The candidates, sorry, not the cadet. So don't do that. This is the time to develop your personality, go out in the world, learn new things, and grow, make yourself grow. If not in military, you will definitely join some good place.
There is an alternative for everything. We should choose our stream.
And the officer actually they ask in interview like, what is your plan B? What happens if you don't get selected? What will you do the next time? These are common questions. So you should have a genuine answer to that.
Yes, we should be prepared for anything. If we get rejected, also we should be have a plan. What if? Hmm. Who is particularly eligible for UPSC exam?
For UPSC NDA, you should be a 12th appearing candidate. If you are passed, then good enough. For CDS and AFCAT, you should be either a graduate or appearing in the final semester. And by the time the final merit list is declared, by that time your college results should have been declared. You have to
Okay.
sign a bona fide certificate for that. So it's a basic eligibility, and let me tell you, 60% is all you need. Their criteria doesn't depend on your graduation or 12th marks
Okay.
unless you go for technical entry based on JEE percentage. So if you are an average candidate, absolute civilian background, no NCC, no NSS, nothing, nobody in your family is a Fauji, doesn't matter. Those 15 qualities matter, that's it. Children of officers get rejected many times and civilians will get selected. So
Hmm.
where you come from, how much marks you scored, what kind of personal life you have, doesn't matter. What you perform in the test, only that matters.
Yes.
Okay? So you should focus on that. Even people with 70%, 75% marks have got selected, and these 98, 99, 9.5 CGPA, they got out because
Yes.
it's not a test of knowledge only. Overall, balanced personality is being checked.
It depends upon psychology also.
Yes, like psychology, physicality, mentality.
Mental.
They say in Hindi, uh, आपका दिल दिमाग घुटना एक लाइन में होना चाहिए. What you think, what you speak, what you do should be same.
Yes.
See, because they are testing you psychologically, intellectually, and physically. So in these three testing, they are checking, do I have a common personality coming out of this? If you write something different in psychology test, if you speak something different in the interview, and on the ground activity or performance is something different, you are a misfit. You're not a balanced personality. There has to be a consensus in what you are, what you are doing in life. Those candidates who do not have this, they won't ever get selected. Out of these three, it's best if all the three match, but it's good if two of them match. If it is one versus three, you are out. You will not get selected ever.
Why do people think UPSC exam is hard?
Mhm. Like the entire process or the written exam only.
So the written exam.
For the written exam, it's quite comprehensive exam because you have to study at least 9 to 10 different subjects, and the difficulty level increases indirectly because of number of candidates appearing because it pushes the cutoff. Now, at least in civil service, you have reservation policy. Nothing like that in defense. As I told you, it depends on individual assessment. If they don't get good individuals, they will wash out the entire batch. Nobody will get selected. So what happens in defense as far as written exam is concerned? You have to study mathematics, which is quite tough for many people. So simple suggestion for you is, as I told you previously, what you do in daily life matters there. So
Yes.
if you do your 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, state board, CBSE doesn't matter. You will clear the ND exam even if the paper is of CBSE level. Okay, because while they say that it will be of 12th CBSE level, but they put in all kinds of questions. They know even rural people are appearing for the exam. So if you have done your previous life very well, you need not even study for mathematics paper or other papers. Only current affair and arts subject जो है history geography, those need to be studied. Now if you are doing BA graduation, history geography, these are your subjects. Do them very well and go and appear for the exam directly. No special studies required. You will clear them. What happens is, since our education system is like that, since childhood, people are taught study only for the exam. And later on, then in life, when they go for UPSC, they understand, they realize that we should not have prepared for exam. We should have prepared for life.
Right.
Because in my school, fortunately we had a teacher who used to tell us, if you are right now in 11th, you have a vacation going on, like 10th has been done, 11th may be time hai. Please go back and solve your 8th, 9th maths book. And those people who did it, they never had to study for mathematics paper in NDA because their basics were clear, their fundamentals were clear. Those who studied only for exam कि ठीक है पास करना है उसके बाद किताब फेंक देंगे. There are students like this who burn their books after the as soon as the last paper is over. I've seen them and they
Yes.
do it out of enjoyment कि चलो exam खत्म फेंको सब. Don't do that. Don't have that approach. Never study for exam. Study for life. Exam
Yes.
is a part of life. You clear life, exam gets cleared automatically. It is a subset of life. Even
Yes.
SSB, how you talk to your parents, how you talk to your friends and family, exact same thing will happen there. You can't talk to an interviewing officer in a different language. Your reality comes out. Those chaps are smart. They are trained to smile. You know, if you see these military people who take interviews,
Yes.
करके बढ़िया smile करके, they will make you speak every nonsensical thing जो आप कभी अपने दोस्तों को नहीं बताओगे जिंदगी में. यू विल वो उसके सामने बोल दोगे आप. ही विल एक्ट सो फ्रेंडली. दे कीप स्माइलिंग एंड ऑल, यू नो, लाफिंग. हाँ हाँ बढ़िया बढ़िया. यू विल स्पीक एवरीथिंग in front of him.
We'll
In
trust
one
them.
hour, that interviewing officer will make you feel so comfortable, you will reveal to him even your secrets. And they ask those kind of questions. They pull you in the trap totally. They are trained for this by DRDO, the psychological laboratories. So that is why this exam becomes tough. Otherwise, as I said previously, if you're conscious enough, you need not be even smart or like a fox or a tiger. Just be conscious. Prepare for the bigger picture. The exam will be cleared. But till 12th, till graduation, if you studied only for the exam with a stress कि चलो ये हट जाए कैसे तो करके, let me get rid of this, you will not succeed in life. You should consciously decide this is what I want and I'm doing it for myself, not for somebody else.
Yes.
And many people don't do this. This is the actual reason why the exam is tough. Otherwise, if it had been so tough, people won't have got selected at all. So the exam is doable. No? It is approachable. Your
Yes.
approach might be wrong. That is why you feel maybe it's difficult. Study wise, I can understand the questions are tough. You have to be analytical, but 90% part is psychological
Yes.
in any exam, even in civil service. And also for people who get selected, let me tell you this, for these people, you are not the best brains in India. You don't run the country. So don't get into this ego that I have cleared a national level exam. Otherwise, you will become like the bureaucracy. The
Yes.
IS, IPS people, they usually have this ego that we are the best in India. Nothing like that exists in defense. You will go and die. So even if you clear or don't clear, the exam is not difficult. Your approach is incorrect. So get it sorted and it will be done.
That should be, we should learn that. We should have that point in our mind every second. We should prepare for life, not for any single
Yes.
exam.
Prepare for life. Exam is a subset of life.
We should be just, we should be a conscious of every situation around us.
Yes. Because that is how an officer is, right?
Yes.
Because especially in army this happens. Or let's get an example from air force. Modern fighter jets, those electronic cockpits are like visual, you know, like video games. 1,000 different screens are there. You have to see every data, the speed, the altitude, who is coming in, who has logged on radar on my target, everything. And you have to process mentally,
Yes.
because one click of a button and a 500-pound bomb will go and hit. You will kill 10,000 people in a click. If
Yes.
you are not conscious, you will go and crash somewhere.
Yes.
I don't want to be harsh for the aspirants, but if you die as an officer, I don't care. but because of you 50 people die in the battalion, you will be blamed कि तेरी वजह
yes,
से मर गए. They might have families, children who might be just young. So the military says एक बंदा जाए तो जाए. One, if killing of one person saves the life of 10 people, you better die. That
yes,
profession is like that. Even in navy, if you are on high seas and the ship gets into some fire or it crashes, the officer is held responsible. Now at
yes,
that time, what will you do? Because again, this is a stressful condition. Your instincts will say save your own life, but then you have your soldiers looking up to you कि ये करता क्या है? Is he a true leader?
yes,
So if you are not conscious of their feelings, they will revolt against you.
yes,
Why did the British Indian Army revolt? Because their officers were idiots. Some
yes,
of them, the East India Company, I'm saying.
okay,
In 1857, you are an unconscious idiot. You tell my people those cartridges, use them. They have grease of animals. How will a
yes,
Hindu or a Muslim touch it if it has the grease of a cow or a what is the pig? सुअर का जो होता है, they use their fat for the cartridges. Now, what kind
yes,
of a idiot will do this? You should be conscious of your soldiers, their cultural background, what kind of people they are, what kind of a person you are. You might
yes,
be a Maharashtrian, you will get posted in a Sikh regiment. You have to talk in Punjabi. You have
yes,
to learn the language. You might be from the Madras regiment, you will get posted in high altitude. You can't
yes.
say, sir, मेरे को गर्मी का आदत है, how I will die in Siachen glacier. कोई नहीं सुनेगा बात आपकी. So being aware of all these things will sort out 90% problems in life in this defense exam also.
We should adapt to our situations.
And have an all India mentality, right? Because military is the best tool of national integration. You should feel
Yes,
connected to the organization. I have
yes,
people from Maharashtra who served in South, who served in North, in Northeast, and they become permanently theirs. उनको वहां का ज्यादा पता है. They might not, they might have forgotten what's happening in their hometown, but where their battalion is posted, they know. So have that sense of belonging, and this is my country, and this is what I will do. Only that will get you going at the end of your service. Otherwise,
yes.
you will get frustrated in 40, 30 years.
So, according to you, how would be the life of a person after clearing the UPSC CDSE?
The life is, I won't tell you the glory part of it. Let it be suspense. Like, the food is good. You will have canteen facilities, 70, 80,000. You will be getting paid every month. But the life is really adventurous and demanding. It's both. They'll treat you like a king, actually. Once you become a senior, तो आपको बढ़िया मिलेगा. But the training is also equally harsh. Well, they'll make your life hell in their training academy. Once you join, the initial 30 days is called the honeymoon period in their language. Nobody will scold you. You won't break any rule. Sleep late at night, play music in your room. 30 days, everything is fine. 31st day, earthquake happens, everything suddenly changes. People start shouting, scolding. I won't say, I won't use the word, but ragging kind of thing does happen there. They'll tell you, okay, ये 5 किलो का पहन लो, 10 किलोमीटर भाग के आ जाओ. Run 10 kilometers, go stand in the sun. Now the training starts. You came as a civilian, now they tell you what military is all about. And that is where people start to break up. They break down mentally, they break down physically, because the military pushes you to your limits. And
Yes,
then they see what kind of person this is. Of course, they get you motivated and all. But let's say if you get selected, you have 30, 45 days gap to join the academy. Please prepare for physical test in a strict manner.
yes,
Start gymming, start running, develop stamina, because their training is highly exhaustive and very compact.
yes,
They'll make you run 10 kilometers, then they'll make you have a heavy breakfast, and then you have to go and attend classes. And imagine the stress. You
yes,
came running, and even the military campuses are like 2, 3 kilometers apart within the
yes,
same premises. A dining hall is here, seminar
yes,
hall would be somewhere else, 2 kilometers apart. So you have
yes,
to fill your stomach and run. And then you should not sleep in the class, otherwise, punishment. So that is the amount of pressure which comes in. Now, nightfall happens, you are trying to go to sleep, but then you have punishments because you broke some rule in the morning. So they'll make you wake up the entire night. Unofficial things also go on in the academy, and again you have to attend classes the next day. So it's very, pressure is bombarded from all sides after the initial 30-day period. But yeah, the remaining part, the facilities and canteen and all, pension benefits, they immediately give you all that. So that bit is good. So by now you must have realized that the level just goes up. You will get enjoyments of this level, but you will get the negativities of this level. Both are balanced. How you react to that, that that sums up your entire military career. Because as you become senior, the respect and on the facility go on increasing, the risk and responsibility also goes on increasing. So you have to be ready for it. So the
Because
life
if
is,
it,
I won't say ideal, but better than civil life in some aspects, not so better in civil life in some other aspects. Like if there is corruption going on, in civil life you will post it on social media. But if
yeah,
you try doing it in the military, they'll throw you out. It will be court martial. It will be seen as against national interest, against national security. You can't talk to the media. You can't give interviews. If you share some locations, even to a friendly person, it will be counted as espionage or spy activity.
yes,
You have to protect yourself from social media, from honey trapping. You should not
yes,
reveal secrets to a stranger. So many things happen, but eventually it gets balanced out. So not an issue.
yes.
So like
If you
that is
have,
how the pluses and the minuses. I've told you both. So you should form a balanced perspective and then decide, should I go in for this?
yes,
They will not tell you this in films, media, web series. They will only glorify certain aspects. Let me tell you, when a bullet hits you, there is no Vande Mataram going on in the background. It's all bad abuses, slangs, and blood and flesh. But
yes,
not every person who joins the army dies. I'm not
yes,
trying to scare the aspirants. Okay? Encounters don't happen on a daily basis, but that is the worst that can happen. There are many good things also. Like relatively, Air Force is a safe option. So many girls especially join the Air Force. Some more adventurous type, they join the Army Navy. So you see what suits your interest and capability. There are good and bad things in both. You
yes,
might think the white uniform of the Navy is good. Live on a ship in a humid climate, you will understand what that uniform is. 200 people living on a ship and one bathroom, one toilet. And the ship is moving up and down in high water. That is the life. So I'm telling you both. The facility and all will be good once you come back. But
yes.
when on the field, you are there.
We should manage everything.
It's all about management.
We should give 100% to our responsible, our role.
Yes.
So explain the exam process and format of UPSC CDSE in a brief.
Mhm.
So just
The
make it
exam
in a tips, in a steps.
exam format, right?
Yes,
Okay.
exam format
So
and selection
the
process.
mhm. So the AFCAT exam is a bit different from the CDS exam because at the initial level these are multiple choice
So I'm
questions.
asking about UPSC, UPSC
Mhm.
CDSE.
Yeah, yeah. So UPSC CDS, it's an MCQ exam with negative marking and it's highly pressurized because I think for English paper they have around 120 questions and you have to answer them in 100 minutes. So you have to do that calculation. How much minutes for how many questions and with what accuracy. Also, the marking scheme is a bit weird there because they will have zero point 0.8 marks for every correct answer and minus one fourth or one third for every wrong answer that you give. So that actually decides the final merit. When it comes to the GK and mathematics paper, only the number of question changes, the time remains the same. So you have to calculate that. In UPSC, in general studies paper, for example, if a political science question is being asked, the options which are given in the answer, they look very similar. And
Yes,
also the options will be like choose which one is correct. So either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4 or none of these or all of the above. This is how the basic pattern is. Whereas in AFCAT, it's direct. Option number one is 1, 2 is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to take only the best one. There is no, multiple options being asked. कि either it is 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4. वैसे नहीं पूछते. That is the biggest difference. And this is very important because in AFCAT, accuracy is required. Whereas in CDS, UPSC, NDA, accuracy and analysis is required. Because if there are three statements given, two of them might be false, one might be correct.
yes,
Now, if you have read about the two statements but not the third one, you will miss the question.
yes,
Whereas in AFCAT, it is totally different. It's simple yes or no. That's it. But for UPSC, you should have an analytical mind. So UPSC, as I told you in that explosion wala example, it
yes,
checks your in-depth knowledge. Do you have an understanding of it? Because
yes,
everybody reads, Everybody reads the same damn newspaper, same damn current affair magazine. What differently have you read that is important in CDS exam?
Yes.
Even in civil service, even in intelligence bureau paper, they have analytical questions. Have you read in detail? Do you know
Yes.
what happened on this issue 10 years earlier? When was the previous, data collected or
Yes.
census report was released? That kind of mentality is required. So that is the difference.
Yes.
Otherwise, the SSB and medical is exact same for all the exams. Difference is only for written test.
So could you briefly explain about SSB exam,
Mhm. Okay.
SSB
So in
process?
SSB, the first day is your OIR, which is basic intelligence test. It is not a test of current affairs or GK. Basic some Venn diagrams will be given, jumbled letters, find out the direction, find the odd one out, those kind of tests. After this happens, the PPDT next. PPDT in PPDT they will show you a picture. Now you have to write a story on that picture. So what they're trying to check is if we show you a situation, what response comes in your mind? What is the original thought? You have to write down a story. Everybody writes it, and then a group is formed and a discussion happens. Now, in the discussion, they tell you that tell your individual stories, and after everybody is done, I want a common story from all of you. So, all the candidates, you discuss among yourselves and give me a common story. This is where the game starts because everybody tries to dominate. My story should be selected. So, this is an art of management.
Yes.
Now, logically, what is there in the picture? Everybody's perception is different. So,
Mm.
only for base of logic, not based on fancy, as happens, in that film wala example I gave you,
Yes.
only based on what was actually shown in the picture, not what you saw or what you missed. Remembering the picture, what was actually there on ground, you have to make a common story. That story then gets told to the officer. Based on these two exams, the day one result is declared.
Okay.
उसमें से people get out, most of them. Very few people get in, and they are retained. They are made to stay for the next 4 days in rooms. They
Okay.
give you good dormitory type of rooms and all. Half of the day testing happens, half of the day is rest time. You can go
Okay.
to the city, visit. They'll give you official ID cards also. You can show we are military candidates there. So half of the day is enjoyment time most of the time. And in the evening, your dinner and all happens. The food is excellent. So the second day, they have your psychology test. Now, this is a pressure chamber. For 3.5 to 4 hours, you will be continuously writing, writing, writing. In PPDT, they showed you one picture. In psychology test, they will show you 13, 14, I think, not 13 hours, 12 pictures. 11 pictures will come one after the other continuously within 3 minutes. So before you finish writing the first story, the another will come. Imagine the pressure that comes in. You have to write stories. The pictures are never seen before. They are
Mm.
highly hazy and blurred and charcoal colored. दिखता ही नहीं है clearly. After that happens, they have a situation reaction test wherein some situation will be given. You have to write a response. Then they'll give you some list of words, which is a word association test. You have to write the first sentence which comes in your mind after reading the word.
Yes.
And then last, they have a self description test wherein 5 questions are asked. What is your opinion about you? What is your parents' opinion? What is your friend's opinion? Teacher's opinion? Yeah. If you're employed, what does your boss think about you? The fifth question is, what do you want to do in the future? So now imagine they showed you pictures and all, they checked your mindset, then they checked your situation response. Now they are checking that if given a chance, who do you think you are? You
Mm.
have to write it down. That is how psychology goes. Third day will be preferably interview or group activity.
Okay.
Interview is like normal interview, 1 hour, 30 minutes, whatever goes on. He'll ask you about your own personal life surroundings, some current affairs, and then the group activity happens in which you will be given the same group continues as were selected on the first day. New groups will be formed on the second day. They continue till the last day. So depending on your group, you will be given the tasks. There are different tasks like uh, ropes and bamboos will be given, material will be given, a situation will be explained that this is an obstacle, use the material and cross this obstacle in this much time. So
Yes.
now they are checking, can you work on ground? Then finally individual physical test happens wherein climbing a rope, jumping from a high platform, or crawling, or there is a tire and you have to jump through it. These kind of physical fitness tests are conducted. So they checked your psychology, they checked your personal response in interview. Now they check your group behavior. That individually you performed very well, but military is about team. How will you perform on ground? And when I appeared for first SSB in Varanasi, it was Air Force at selection board. I remember we couldn't even complete our breakfast. Early morning 7:30 they started. Until 4:30 we were continuously running, picking up the material, solving the task. We also had a group planning exercise wherein like a military board, they explain you a situation like this is a village, there is a road, some people are going and something is happening. Now how will you go and solve out the problem? So actual testing is happening. That is how the fourth and the last day goes. Now fifth day is of conference wherein no testing happens. They make you sit in the hall, and all those officers who had done your testing, they are sitting together in the different rooms. They call you in. Maximum for 10 seconds, they'll make you sit, ask you, hi, how are you? How was your stay? Do you have any feedback? And in that time, they'll mark their judgment. Because while all the testing is happening in 4 days, they are recording the observations. So on the last day, a final call is taken. इसको select करना है कि नहीं? If the now there is a psychologist, there is a group testing officer, and your आपका जिसने इंटरव्यू लिया था, that person is sitting. Now out of these three, if two people say yes, one person says no, you get selected. Three of them say yes, you get selected. But if one says yes and two says no, total rejection. All of the three say no, total rejection. So out of three things, as I told you previously, two should match. What you speak, what you do, and what you think. Two is good, training will take care of the third one.
Yes.
One is bad, two is good, training will teach you. But if you have one quality and you don't have the other two, you are out. If you don't have any three, then no question, you're definitely out. So that is how the overall SSP happens. Those who get selected, they go for the medicals. उसमें भी जो select हुआ, he goes in the list. Again, merit list में जो reject हुआ, वो बाहर. So you know it's continuous rejection.
Filtering process.
Yeah. So finally, जो बच गया, he gets into the academy, provided he completes the training, doesn't get injured, or some people die during training. It's very stressful, and then they join after 2 years. So from filling the form to joining, 2 to 3 years will be gone almost. So that is how the process looks like. Same for girls and boys. No gender discrimination, no special privilege. Only the medical criteria will change. Now, those who are ultra feminist, sorry for them. If the guy's height requirement, let's say, is 6 feet, for girls it will be 5 feet. Equality doesn't operate here. Scientificness operates for various different reasons. Girls have it different criteria, boys have it differently. So even in service, there might be total equality that okay, you serve together and all, but in some aspects, differences are respected. The military is smart enough to know that. So total equality doesn't happen, but yes, considerable respect is there.
Explain the exam process and pattern of AFCAT.
Yeah.
In detail.
So AFCAT is the Air Force Common Admission Test. Now this is conducted only by the Indian Air Force, like INET is conducted by Navy. Now in AFCAT, the biggest advantage is the exam paper pattern. You have 3 hours to go and only 100 questions, which is very easy pattern. Now in those 100 questions, I think 32 would be about reasoning, 18 would be maths, so 50 are done, and 25 GK and English. Now here you can use the similar strategy as I told you before. Let's say your maths is weak, don't even attempt those 32 questions. I'm not saying leave it completely, but the remaining 70 questions, if you do them correctly with 100% accuracy, out of 300, you will easily get 210 marks, which is a very, very good score. Till now, my highest score out of 300 has been 228, which is good, and it helps in the merit list.
Okay.
Now, here comes the tricky part. If you are not confident that you will get so many marks, or if your medical is a bit weak, medical part, do not apply for the flying branch. Because in flying branch, the medical criteria is very strict. So even if you have 150 marks in written, but good marks in SSB, qualified medical decently, you will
Okay.
get selected for flying branch. But out of 300, even if you get 299 in written and you lose in SSB or in medical, you won't get into the ground branch or technical branches. Because there the competition and crowd is very high. So
Okay.
I know a candidate, he had 150 marks in written, but excellent medical and interview, directly became fighter pilot, got selected. Whereas others who had high marks could not perform as much well, so they got out in the final merit list. Initially they got selected, due to number of vacancies they got out. That's very frustrating to get rejected at that stage.
Yes.
So plan your options. Even while you fill the form, fill every detail very correctly. They will ask you whether you are a repeater or a first timer. Do not put in incorrect data, because there the record has already been maintained and they will cross verify.
Yes.
Put all your documents as per the notification only. If you do not understand, read the notification 3 4 times. Call them, email them, ask them your queries, because even for documentation purpose, people have been removed from the process. If you have body tattoo, they have a different tattoo policy. If you have changed your name, if your name is different on some of the documents, you do not have a bona fide certificate, you do not have your graduation mark sheet, for such things they will reject you. They won't even allow to appear for the exam. Giving the exam then is different game. uh, See, so the rejection happens at every stage. They'll even throw you out if you do not have 20 passport photographs. If they say 20, you better take 25.
Yes.
Okay. Because once you are in the premises, they won't even let you out. For 5 days, you will stay inside completely. So
Okay.
that is the strictness. Even in written exam, while doing the document verification, if you don't have ID or all, they won't allow. So prepare very consciously for this exam. The written is easy. 170 plus should be your target, because recently the cutoff has gone to 165. So at least aim for 170 plus. Out of 100 questions, do not solve every question. Don't do it. Solve 70, 80, maximum 85 questions. It's good enough. But those 85 should be 100% correct. Double check the paper, because 3 hours is sufficient time, and then only you submit your exam. The answers are automatically saved, so no issue with that. But stick till the last point. Don't solve the paper in 2 hours and tell them I'm going. Set for the duration entirely and solve it out. And same pattern you follow for NDA and CDS. आखिरी तक बैठो, check every question 2 times, and based on accuracy you will clear. Otherwise, इसके बाद the only see the names will change. The army people, those who get selected, they go to army selection board. Air Force candidate, Air Force selection board. Only names will change. SSB is exact same. Medicals also, the criteria would be a bit different. Like a ground soldier and fighter aircraft, the temperament is different. Medical criteria is different. Otherwise, it is the same. Even for girls and boys, both of them.
Thank you, Rahul, for
And
having you
yeah,
on this
before
show.
we end, I must tell you that for CDS, the maximum age limit is 23 or I think 24. Whereas
Okay.
AFCAT, you have an advantage. You can go till 25 or 26. So read the correct age gap given in the notification. And by the time you actually touch that age, you should have joined the academy.
Okay.
So prepare very strictly for CDS, but you should prepare strictly for everything. But in AFCAT, you have 4 more attempts than CDS exam, but
Okay.
try to clear in the initial attempt itself. Because if somebody becomes an officer at age of 21 and you are still an aspirant at the age of 26, even if you join, he will be your senior. Then
Yes.
ego issues and all that happens. So get early as much as possible.
Thank you, Rahul, for having you on the show.
It was a great pleasure being here, and let me know if any queries come in. We'll answer them also.